Welcome to Starkillr Base, Episode 1, Birthdays. My name is Selina Starkillr, and with me is the fantastic...
Super Ninja Evan.
He's my husband, and I'm
Yeah,
his
I am.
wife. All right, so today for our first episode, we're going to be talking about birthdays. Originally, we planned for this podcast to come out a few months ago, but we ran into some issues. So we're going to do it now, and we're going to talk about our birthdays first because we have a lot to talk about with them.
Do we though? Do we have a lot of talk? I mean, it's gonna be a great conversation. So we'll figure it out as we go along.
Yeah, so we wanted to talk about a couple different things. First of all, our birthdays are both in February. They are 1 week and 1 year away from each other. And that makes us both the same zodiac sign.
Yeah, that's the word for it.
Zodiac sign.
Aquarians, deep down.
Yeah, we're both Aquarians. And what's funny is we went to the DMV recently to get some paperwork done, and the clerk looked at our birthdays and said, "Oh, you're both born in February. Oh, you're both Aquarians. How does that work?" I actually hadn't thought about it until she said something. But all right, what was our response? What did you say? Because you actually
I don't know. I said something funny and clever in the moment, but that's usually what happens to me in public because I come up with a response and don't remember what I said because I kind of black out in social situations sometimes. But it
relatable
just
content.
right, it just does work. I mean, Aquarians sometimes either really get along or don't. I've never met an Aquarian that I don't get along with, but I think we just have the right amount of similar traumas to make us work out very well. Yeah.
Maybe. But also we work really hard on our communication.
That is true.
So
That is very true.
I think that might have been the response. I wish I could recollect it now, but of course I can't. But yeah, the answer is lots of communication and trying to understand each other.
Yeah, that's a never-ending process, I think, in life with anyone that's important to you, close to you, whether it's a friend, family member, or amazing significant other, is just try to understand them. Because even if you think you know someone, it's impossible to know someone entirely. You never know the thoughts that are going on inside their head. So just learning to talk about your thoughts and feelings is how we got here. I mean, we've been together over 10 years now. 10 years. I don't even remember my 20s, but I remember when I met you and I was not the same person I am now.
Right? That's so crazy to think about. So you're 1 year older than me. So
Not much wiser, though. I want to make that very clear.
I didn't say it. He did.
I need our viewers to know.
They're not viewing anything.
They're viewing our voices with their ears.
Close your eyes and imagine what we must look like.
It's big and fluffy. I'll give you a hint. I'm secretly a bear.
Not so secretly. So yeah, you're 1 year older than me. So every year there's 1 week where we are the same age.
Mm-hmm.
And I love to give Mr. Super Ninja Evan here a hard time for that 1 week of being like, oh, we're the same age. And then as soon as his birthday comes up, I'm like, you're old. Mm-hmm. But then the next year I just turn the same exact age. So.
Yeah. For that week, I like to call her old because that's the only time I can, because she's always younger than me. But yeah, I mean, being 1 year apart, it was really wonderful because we share so many kind of historical landmarks. I don't know what's the phrase I'm looking for. Like, we grew up with a lot of the same stuff.
Oh, like references.
Yeah, like Dunkaroos. I don't know why that's what came to mind, but like, we know what Dunkaroos are.
I would never eat those now, but oh my god, did I go hard on the Dunkaroos?
Yeah, I never had them as a kid because we were kind of poor. shh, don't tell anyone. And Dunkaroos were like not cheap. We
Oh
probably had some
yeah.
off-brand ones, but recently, I think I told you this story. I went grocery shopping the other week at BJ's, as I tend to do. You were sitting in the car actually because she didn't want to come inside.
I don't like being.
Yeah, that
It's too
it
much.
is too much. I don't even like going inside. It's a necessary evil. But they finally brought the free samples back because I guess the pandemic's over. I don't know, but
Mm.
they had Dunkaroos out, so they had tiny little cookies with just little bloop, little smidget, little of frosting on it, like all these tiny little cookies. So
Oh,
of course I had to have one. So like I pulled down my mask and I popped that bad boy in, and oh my god, childhood memories came rushing back.
did it taste the same?
I maybe probably it was so sweet. Like it was like too sweet, when you eat like frosting, like that frosting that's just like super sweet. It was
Ugh.
kind of like that. Like I could not imagine just eating it plain. Like, no, thank you. But I'm also the type of person that scrapes frosting off cupcakes. Please don't send a witch hunt after me. It's just my preference. I don't like the frosting. Give me the cake. You can take my frosting.
And that's another reason why our partnership works out so well, because I will take that
Yeah.
frosting
Yeah, you
and
can
put it
take it
on
all.
top of the frosting that I was allotted and create a double frosting monster.
Yeah, it's all about balance. I think that's what we're getting at. Is you have to find
Yeah.
someone that's a good counterbalance to your weirdnesses,
Yeah.
or has the same weirdnesses that just match up with you, like Legos. Either gotta like, well, I don't know where that analogy was going, but like Legos.
I was with you there and then you
Uh,
stopped and I was like, oh.
I lost it.
So before we move on to talking more about birthdays, Dunkaroos, the question is the chocolate frosting or the vanilla
I
frosting with the sprinkles that were not oblong shape. They were
like
spherical.
round. They were like round little discs,
No, not
little sprinkle
discs.
discs.
They were spherical. You
They
know
were
what a sphere
balls?
is?
I don't
Yeah.
remember them being balls. I
They were
remember them
fucking
being like little
balls.
sprinkle discs,
Sprinkle
like funfetti
discs.
discs. I love
Oh, you're
funfetti.
right,
Was
I
it
think.
funfetti?
No, I think Funfetti is. I think Funfetti has sprinklers in it.
Sprinklers? Is fun
Sorry, we were getting some interference and I got distracted and said sprinklers.
But is funfetti, so question, let's completely divert this train one more time.
Okay, hold on.
Is it defined by its shape?
Hold
Like
on, we're looking up Funfetti right
does
now.
funfetti have to be round to be funfetti? Or is
Is
it
it
just
fun if it's round or
if it's if it's like oblong like a sprinkle, is funfetti and sprinkles just the same thing, just different shapes? But no, sprinkles are kind of like a glossy, kind of sugary thing, whereas funfetti is like not glossy.
okay,
It's
we've
got
kind
like a
of solved
matte
this.
finish.
Is Funfetti sprinkles?
Question mark?
Question mark.
Google, help us out here. Because I love funfetti.
Is
If you ever,
Funfetti just vanilla with sprinkles? Before
yeah,
we find out, definitely leave a little comment if you can, if you're watching this on YouTube, and let me know, is Funfetti sprinkles? Are sprinkles Funfetti? Were the sprinkles in Dunkaroos spherical or were they disc shaped?
yeah, or were they just regular
Or were they
sprinkles?
regular sprinkles?
I mean, I guess this could be one of those things that just everyone has their own opinion. So please let us know, like, what your thought is.
Yeah.
Do you consider funfetti a form of sprinkles? Is this like a square rectangle thing where,
So,
like, every funfetti is sprinkle, but not every sprinkle is funfetti? These are the big eternal questions that keep us together in our relationship, because this is the stuff we talk about all
all the
alone.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now you get to listen to it. Hooray.
You're welcome, and I'm sorry.
So, according to Google, Funfetti cake is just vanilla cake with sprinkles. It's a buttery vanilla cake with sprinkles throughout the batter and frosted with vanilla buttercream. And the buttercream usually does have sprinkles.
Okay, so wild idea. Maybe funfetti is just sprinkles. Maybe funfetti and sprinkles are the same thing. But what
Wait.
makes funfetti
Okay,
is it
Funfetti
being inside of something.
confirmed disc shape on Funfetti. I'm
Yeah.
looking at the Pillsbury Funfetti vanilla frosting container right now, and I definitely used to eat these containers of frosting
I
with
can't judge.
just a spoon.
Yeah,
Oh,
I did that too. I was a little fat, little chubby adolescent boy.
oh, so good
Yeah, I
though.
loved frosting. My mom used to have to hide the frosting from my dad and I.
Hide your frosting, hide your
Yeah,
spoons, hide your sprinkles.
yeah, sugar addiction, man. It's a hell of a drug. But I will say one thing about Funfetti. As much as I don't like frosting, Funfetti is my exception. Funfetti
Mm.
cake, cupcake, I don't care. If it's Funfetti, I'll eat it.
Oh,
You know, my favorite desserts and stuff are all fruit based. You know this.
yeah.
Apple pie, apple anything. I don't care. But Funfetti has a special place in my heart.
I don't think I ever knew that about you. See, we learn new things every day.
Yeah, all the time. It's from talking.
Yeah.
Usually to ourselves, but sometimes the others listening.
Truer words have never been said. Um, on the topic of funfetti as well, my favorite thing to do besides just eating the frosting, don't do that. You'll probably
You can do
get
that. Do it.
diabetes. Be careful. Let's be careful, okay? Um, I would get the funfetti cake mix and the funfetti frosting,
Mhm.
and I would make what I called a mess cake.
Oh my god.
MESS cake, and it basically like you cook the cake, right? And then you put it in a bowl and you smash it up.
Okay.
Crumble it up
I'm
while
with
it's
you.
warm, right?
While it's warm.
Don't let that bitch cool down.
Does it crumble better when it's warm?
Here's the thing. See, you gotta listen to the whole
All right,
thing.
I'll shut
Okay.
my mouth.
You take the cake out, it's done. You put
Mhm,
it in a bowl. You
mhm.
start smashing with a spoon,
I love
crumbledy
smash, yeah.
crumbledy. Then you take the funfetti out of the funfetti frosting out of the container, and you pour it directly into the warm cake smash in the bowl.
I'm salivating. Go on.
And then me too. And then put the sprinkles on.
Wait, so
And
you add more sprinkles?
no, the sprinkle. See this can of funfetti on the screen here that no one else can see except for me and you. See how there's like
Oh, right, right,
there,
right. It's a
yeah,
little top container.
yeah. So they don't get all soggy. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
you
Okay.
dislodge the frosting and put it into the cake, and then you pour the little funfetti, the actual fetti of the fun, onto it, and then you mix it all together, and it like softens the frosting and
Because it's
evenly
warm.
distributes
Okay.
it throughout.
So
And
then
then
what?
you just eat it with like a
A
bowl and
spoon?
a spoon, and it's fucking
Could you like shape it into
delicious.
like little frosting cake balls after that if you wanted?
You totally
Level it
could.
up?
You totally could.
And also, like, I like that you said release the funfetti. Like it's like sealed away like a
It is sealed away.
dinosaur or a kraken. Like you
It
just have to
is.
like break the seal and the funfetti's free out into the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah, you gotta rip that
Rip that tab, that
rip that
seal.
tab. Yeah, rip the
I do
seal.
secretly like foods and stuff like that that have like two separate containers. It's horribly wasteful and probably really bad for the environment, but we're not talking about that today. We're talking about funfetti. So when you have like a yogurt or a frosting, like yogurt that has like the crunchy granola sealed on
Oh,
top,
yum yum.
and you gotta like release it and then
Yeah.
mix it and let them mingle together and hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can get down with that.
And see, this is my mess cake is like a completely original recipe because
Yeah, I
you don't
don't see
see
it.
no pictures of mess
I
cake
don't imagine a
up in
mess cake
here.
would photograph well though, because it would
It
just look like this big mushy pile.
it resembles its name.
Yeah, but sometimes the most delicious things don't present well. Like we were watching that Gordon
true.
Ramsay show last night, and that guy made the bread pudding that looked like stale garbage, but everyone
right.
liked it more because it's just sometimes it's about the flavor. When you put it in your mouth, you don't care how it looks. That could be
But
taken out of context.
so the show you're watching is called The F Word on
BBC America
on
/ Hulu.
BBC America or Hulu. Check
Yeah.
it out if you would like to see Gordon Ramsay. It's basically like a Hell's Kitchen slash that restaurant show that he had mashup slash his like insanely sensual cooking show that he used to
Yeah.
have all kind of put together, but much less intense.
Yeah, less swearing than his normal shows.
Less swearing, less intensity.
Yeah.
But it was really good, and we did learn a lot. And what were we talking? Oh, right, the banana pudding from the show.
Not
Yeah,
banana pudding, bread
bread
pudding.
pudding. Oh my
Other B
god.
word. You had bananas this morning.
Baby,
That's why it's on your brain.
baby.
BBs.
Yeah. But yeah, that's true. I mean, but looks do matter though, because you do look at it before you eat it. So
Yeah, that's true.
your eyeballs are still, getting information. Anyway, birthday.
Eating your food with your eyes. You're watching our podcast.
How to make a mess
How to
cake.
make a mess cake. Birthdays. Full circle. So we came full back.
Would you like a funfetti cake for your birthday next year?
I mean, that's what I usually get because your mom, like early on in our relationship, Selina's mom, found out that I don't like chocolate and sweets and stuff, which is an oddity, I guess. For I just don't like super sweet stuff. Like I said, frosting not for me. So I guess at some point she learned that I like funfetti, so that became like the de facto like default thing that I would get from her. So funfetti cake and cupcakes. So yeah, pretty much every year I get funfetti.
That's
But our
true.
birthdays are so close together, it just gets combined anyway. We don't
Yeah.
get our own individual celebrations. And that's definitely one topic we could talk about when it comes to birthdays is if you like share a birthday with either a holiday or a sibling or a family member or something, you get shafted. Absolutely. I mean,
Some people do.
some people, I guess it depends if your family loves you or not. I don't think mine did. So
How much does your family love you?
yeah, like I feel so bad for people that have birthdays near Christmas. That's it. Every other
Yeah.
person, like if you share a birthday, fine. But if your birthday's near Christmas, yeah, you just get overshadowed all the time. And that's just
Yeah.
commercialism's fault. That's it can't be helped.
Yeah. And the funny thing is that my father's birthday is 1 week away from my birthday.
That's right.
And then Super Ninja Evan's birthday is 1 week away from my birthday. And then 1.5 weeks later is our dog Raven's birthday. So everybody's birthdays are kind of, well, not everyone's, but a majority of people in this family's birthdays are all kind of within the same clump,
Yeah, all February too. All those early birthdays.
except for my dad, which is January.
Oh, that's right. Technically. Technically, but he's still an Aquarian, right? That's still Aquarius season, end of January.
I think he still is an Aquarian. I'd have to check.
I think it's
just
like
to be
the
sure.
21st, 22nd, 23rd that switches from Capricorn to Aquarian.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm not a Capricorn, so I just don't care when
Yeah.
their season starts, if I'm being honest. I mean, that's the Aries rising in me. It's all about me.
Yeah, and your rising signs. I don't know any of my rising signs or anything because I don't know what time I was born.
That's
I have
right.
no
You're a
idea.
mystery.
I have to, it's not on my birth certificate. I have looked. I have to actually request the records from this place in order to figure out what time I was born, which I do plan on doing, but obviously it's kind of super low on my priority list because
It's just for the rising sign.
It's just for some extra signs for me to kind of find out.
I wonder what rising sign you are.
Contemplate.
You're a very hard worker. You're very motivated. I wonder what your rising sign could be. That's another podcast topic, I suppose, talking about zodiac signs.
Yeah, once I find out, we'll have to maybe we can find out like on the podcast. We'll research
reveal.
it.
Ooh, rising reveal.
So that we can, do all that. And because all of our birthdays are kind of in a clump, well, the three of us and our beautiful dog, who has her own Instagram, which we don't faithfully upload to. But
yeah, I don't
at
faithfully
Raven
upload to my
Wigglepaw.
own Instagram, let alone my pups.
Yeah.
She's more important than me, if I had to be honest.
She certainly is cuter. Just kidding. I love you.
I'll take it.
But yeah, we do end up clumping and like combining my father's birthday, my birthday, Super Ninja's birthday all together. And we didn't do that this year, right?
we didn't do any birthdays the past couple years for reasons. We're
Yeah.
kind of done, and I think that's what kind of inspired us to start doing this, like start this podcast with this birthday convo,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like people's relationships with their birthdays change so much over time.
Yeah.
Like when you're a kid, it's such a big event. It's such a celebration. You look forward to it. It's so exciting. In your 20s, it can be a lot of fun. And you have some big important birthdays and milestones. And then something happens to people when you're in your 30s. You either like stop giving a crap about your birthdays altogether, or it's just like just another day. Some
Yeah.
people
You found.
actively don't like their birthdays too.
Yeah. That is true. And I recently learned, well, I recently, uh, I'm trying to think of when it was, but we've all been through this freaking time warp for the last couple of years, so nobody knows like when anything was anymore. Um, I think it was a few years ago. I was talking to one of my wonderful therapists, and she had asked me like, "Oh, your birthday's coming up. How do you feel about it?" And I was like, I don't usually really like my birthday so much." Um, and we explored that, of course, and talked about why. But I learned that if you have a traumatic birth or a
Mm.
traumatic childhood or and a traumatic event that happens around your birthday, oftentimes that leads you to feeling like I was feeling. And I do know, even though I don't know what time I was born, I do know that my birth was particularly laborious for my mother. Which we are recording this on Mother's Day, so happy Mama's Day to all the
Happy
mamas,
Mother's Day.
babies, mamas, and baby
And
mamas,
for
for
parents, they
parents,
matter.
people in general who take care of anything, plant moms, fur moms.
Yeah, true. Plant moms. I can't grow anything, so I have the utmost respect for plant people.
You haven't really tried though,
No, there's a lot of things I haven't tried that I just tell myself I'm not good at, though, but that's also
right?
another
Speaking of
topic.
trauma.
I've never done that. I'm bad at it.
Everybody's bad at things until they practice.
Right?
That's the real truth. You need to
Yeah.
practice to be good at things. There is there is such a thing as natural talent,
Mm-hmm.
but most things still do require practice.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I found that out. Um, and since I kind of found that out about my birthday and the reason why it might not be my favorite day of the entire year, it makes a lot more sense to me. And I have made made it a priority to do what I want to do on my birthday, and that's it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of times I'm like, well, my family wants to, or my friends
Mm-hmm.
want to, and
I
really,
should do this,
yeah,
and
feeling
yeah.
obligated.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now I don't feel like that anymore. I'm like, it's my birthday. I know it might be a mentally heavy day. So I'm going to do whatever I need to do to feel good. And that's what I would recommend for any of you listening out there is to just do what you want to do on your birthday. It's your day.
It's your day.
It's your
Yeah.
day. You
Yeah,
were
whatever
born
you need, whatever you
today.
want, whatever makes you happy. I mean, I understand the feeling of obligation, especially when it comes to like family, and that just, I think that expands past birthdays, but,
Mm,
specifically on that kind of day that we're talking about, that it's supposed to be your day. This is the day of your birth. And whether you think the day of your birth is important or not, it should be something that you celebrate. Celebrate yourself and don't succumb to obligation. If you feel like you're being pressured into spending time with your family, or like you have to have a party, especially if you have like workplace birthdays, those are another big mixed bag. As somebody who's worked in large office settings for his entire adult life,
corporate bear.
corporate my old corporate self that I've laid to rest, thankfully. But yeah, birthdays, just find something that makes you happy. If it's sitting in bed and playing Animal Crossing all day, do it.
That's
If
me.
that's Selena. If you want to eat cupcakes all day,
Also me.
do it. Do it. You're gonna regret it tomorrow,
Mhm.
probably, but do it. If you want to smoke your face off and be higher than the clouds
And play Elden Ring all
and
day.
play Elden Ring all day, I mean, that's my birthday. But yeah, I mean, just find what makes you happy and what brings you peace, but also most importantly, like what recharges you. I mean, if you choose to spend the day expending energy doing something wild and crazy, that's fine if you're enjoying it, but be mindful of the spoons that you're using.
Yeah, and when we say like be mindful of the spoons that you're using, I know it's much more common to hear that kind of a thing from people these days, and I love that we're all kind of talking this way. But another one of my therapists gave me the analogy of your energy being like spoonfuls. And so how many spoons do you have? What size is that spoon? Is it a teaspoon? Is it a ladle? You know? Is it one of those giant one spoons that's like 7 feet tall that you could stick your head in?
I don't know anyone that has that much energy. not after the
right?
past few years.
So yeah, when you kind of start to think about your energy in a measurable quantity and just recognize that it can change from day to day. Like you might not always have 5 spoons. You might have 1 spoon. You might have half a spoon,
Yeah.
and then the next day it might be 10 spoons. So that's what we mean. That's what we mean when we say spoonfuls. We're talking spoonfuls of mental and physical energy and emotional and spiritual. Let's add all 4 of them.
All together, all separate, whatever works for you. Just an analogy. It can be anything. You could say spoons. You can say something else. I can't think of anything now.
I was like,
but
forkfuls?
Forkfuls, that doesn't work.
doesn't
Cups
work.
of energy. I mean, it could be like
bags.
you can look at it as like a stamina bar. If you're gamers like us, you can view it as like,
your HP.
Yeah, mana, HP, stamina bar, PP for like Pokemon moves. If you want to talk like that, but like how much of this resource do you have? Because your energy is a resource, right?
Your most precious resource.
Yeah, and it recharges when you sleep, but it doesn't always recharge the same way every night. And just like Selena said, you have different energy levels every day because, and this is a deeper topic, we'll just glaze over it right now. Graze? Oh, maybe I want a donut. we'll just glaze over it. Yeah, it's funfetti talk. But like, you're a different human being every day. Like the cells in your body are literally different. I'm not just like being exaggeratory when I say literally. You're a new person every freaking day almost. So you're going to feel different every day. And your birthday is no exception. So hopefully it's a good day. Some days it's not, but that's what we're going to talk about today is some of our good memories, some of our funny memories, some of the bad ones, but also, just kind of laying it all out to see how you feel.
Yeah, and we're going to take a break really quickly, and then we're going to come back and talk about our happiest memories, our funniest memories, our worst memories, and all of those fun things. So we'll be right back after this little break. All right, and we're back. Hello.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Selena.
That was fast. For them, it'll only be like a second.
Just a second. You'll never know how long it was for us.
How long were we going? Not that long. All right, so we were talking about we were going to pick up with memories. Let me pull up my little notepad here. So, Evan, what's your happiest birthday memory?
Well, this one's kind of easy for me because my happiest birthday memory is the day I met you.
Oh,
yeah.
Tell us what happened. What happened?
Well, I will preface it by saying I had some happy birthdays before you. There were a couple happy moments in my life before you came into it.
I hope so.
But the ultimate happiest was the day I met Selena because we met on my birthday. and I had planned to go see Star Wars Episode 1 in 3D. For anyone that remembers, it was 2012. I don't need to say around. It was
Oh yeah, because
2012.
it's been exactly
Yeah,
10 years.
they re-released Episode 1 in theaters in 3D because 3D was super big at the time, and I was like, hell yeah, I want to see Star Wars in 3D, even though it's like one of my least favorite. I mean, at the time, now there's episode 7, 8, and 9, which, but
Ow.
yeah, I don't want to hate on them, but whatever. Pod racing in episode 1, awesome. In
Yeah.
3D, amazing. And Darth Maul twirling a saber in
Yeah, that was
3D,
cool.
oh, blew my mind. But I digress. So I had planned this day for a long time, and I bought tickets. And back in the day, we used this little website. It was like pretty niche. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It was called Facebook.
Excuse me.
Do you remember did you ever hear that?
The Facebook.
Yeah, the Facebook.
The
Yeah, the
Facebook.
Facebook. So I had posted on the Facebook that I was going to see this movie, and I was super excited. At the time, I was working for a little company, a little cable company at a call center. I won't name them by name because they don't deserve it. But I was working at this call center, and I had befriended some coworkers, and my coworker's girlfriend saw this Facebook post, and she asked if she could come along. And I said, heck yeah, of course. The more the merrier. I was already planning to bring one of my other friends to see this movie. So sure, come along.
Shout out to Maria.
Shout out to Maria and Charles. We love you
We love
guys.
you. And your babies are so cute.
Yeah, you're pretty much responsible for our relationship, because I would not have met Selina if it wasn't for you two. So she posted to my post, that's the word, replied to my post, can I come along? I said sure. She's like, awesome. Do you mind if I
Maria, not me.
This was Maria, yeah. And she's like, do you mind if I bring my friend? And I was like, yeah, of course. So I get to Maria's place the day of the movie, and her friend happened to be this person right here, Selina.
That's me.
That's her. So she was sitting in their kitchen, and I introduced myself. I remember she had blonde hair, but I don't remember much else because I was pretty awkward around new people, but especially cute girls. Because I had this phase in my life where I had a crush on any girl that looked at me and was nice to me. So instantly,
I don't know if that was a phase. It's
okay,
still true.
whatever, I crush easy.
He's got a big heart.
I have a huge heart, not in like a Seabiscuit kind of way,
not in a medically detrimental way.
Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, so I walk in to Maria's house, and I see this person, Selina. I didn't know her name at that moment, but I was introduced to her, and I was like, cool, you're coming to see the movie, you like Star Wars? We're already friends, because if you like Star Wars, boom, we're together. Not literally, but like whatever. So we go to the movie, we see Star Wars. I think we sat next to each other.
We did sit next to each other. I was on your right hand side.
Yeah. My right hand? No, you were on my left. Was it my left?
Oh, no, I was on your left.
Yeah, because I remember, yeah. Anyway, so we're in the movie, and I'd gotten Twizzlers, because I kind of like Twizzlers. They're not my favorite, but they're nice. And I'm a kind, generous, sharing is caring individual. So I asked Selina if she wants a Twizzler. And what was your response?
No thanks.
Yeah, no thanks. She's being polite. In fact, she hates Twizzlers.
Yeah, I don't like
I mean, I understand the texture's weird.
If I'm eating one, it's a dire situation. Okay, I need sugar right away.
Yeah,
and that's the only thing close by.
Yeah, so I keep trying to offer her Twizzler. She keeps saying no, and I must have asked if she wanted a Twizzler like easily a dozen times, because I thought maybe she's just being polite. Maybe she doesn't like want to take my Twizzlers. So I keep trying. I keep trying to like give her my Twizzlers, and she didn't want them. That's fine. She didn't take any of my Twizzlers.
Refused every time.
Yeah. So that was our first meeting, and the movie ends. I bring them back home, And I just so happened to be having a bonfire at my house the next day, which was something we'll talk about more, something I did all the time. I always had bonfires at my parents' house because I love being outside. I love fire, not in a kind of way, fire, but just fire. Bonfires are wonderful. And I feel like if you grow up in New England, you like bonfires. There's
Mhm.
really nothing else to do except go outside and have a bonfire and drink with your friends. So I invited her to my bonfire the next day. Her and Maria come along. So this is the second day we've met, which is the day after my birthday. And yeah, they come along. We like ended up sitting like next to each other all night and just like chatting here and there, but I was busy being a host. And yeah, we had a good time. And then 2 days later, on Valentine's Day, because our birthday's in February, we had our first date.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
that's really your happiest birthday memory?
yeah, it absolutely is.
Oh,
The day I met you, I saw Star Wars in 3D, already one of the best memories, but I met my future girlfriend and future wife.
oh my
Yeah.
God, you're
Yeah.
so cute.
Changed my life. Thank you. And it was a movie theater that's now closed. It's now a gym. It was the
That's right.
AMC in Stratford. Was it AMC? Pretty sure it was the AMC
The
in
big,
Stratford
yeah, the
near the
big
Home
one
Depot and
by the
Walmart,
highway.
right by the highway. It's now a gym, which is sad, but of course it is. It's not surprising.
Everything is turned into a gym around here.
Yeah, or a Spirit Halloween.
Yeah. Well, that's only in October, September, October. Um, did you see that? Unrelated, but Spirit Halloween had tweeted out for like April Fool's Day, like, we're gonna have a permanent store. And people were really excited. And then they were like, April Fools. And people were like, why would you
Why
do
would you do that? We love
this?
Halloween. Yeah, there's some people that go hard for Halloween and would totally like
Yeah,
that's
shop
their
there year
decor
round.
year round. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I concur with that, but that's funny. It's a
Yeah.
little messed up about Spirit Halloween, but that's my happiest birthday memory. What about you, Selena? What's your
Oh,
happiest birthday memory?
uh, see, I had to think hard about this one because I, I was like, what is my happiest birthday? I
You
don't
had
know.
hard accessing those happy
Um,
memories.
yeah, because of, not liking my birthday in general. But I did uncover one in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when I turned 16, I
Ooh.
remember being super happy that I would be able to get a license, have a car, because I'm lucky enough to be able to do those things
Yeah.
and live in an area where having your own car is kind of extremely important.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the greatest public transportation around here.
Yeah, pretty much none.
And where I lived then was a very secluded place. Well, not very secluded. There are much more secluded places in the world, but
By Connecticut standards.
yeah, more rural, I guess. I don't really know how to say that word.
You said it.
But yeah, and I had a lot of hobbies. I was in the marching band, I was in school obviously, and then I was also a competitive horseback rider. And so almost every day after school, I would either be doing band practice or at the barn, um, learning and, working with my horse,
Yeah.
and trying to, get better at competing and stuff. So having my own car meant like freedom, absolutely. And then also, I wouldn't have to wait for anyone to pick me up from these places. And once it was done, I could just go home.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I had to wait. I was always very lucky to have two parents that switched off to come pick me up.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't need like help from other people. My parents definitely helped a lot, and I'm very grateful for that. But one of them was always late, and sometimes it was by a lot. And I did not have my own cell phone until I was, I think, like 14 or 15. And even then, I only had one for emergencies at the barn because horseback riding is a dangerous activity. Um, and they had a payphone at the barn. And if I ran out of quarters, I would always have to like call my parents to be picked up so that they knew I was done. And I would oftentimes end up calling collect, and instead of like saying my name, I'd just be like, "It's me, pick me up," and then you'd hang up real quick before the charge went through.
Right.
So yeah, being 16 meant, all right, I can get my license, I can drive a car, I can have my own car, have my freedom, and be able to go wherever I want.
Yeah,
So
that's huge.
yeah, that made me super happy, just being like, I'm 16 now and the world is mine.
I'm an
Yes.
independent woman. I could go wherever I
Yeah.
want. And yeah, I think you kind of surfaced or unsurfaced,
Uncovered.
uncovered. Thank you, unsurfaced, uncovered kind of a point there that like driving is freedom. It really is. I mean, if you live in a place where there isn't, public transportation, or you don't have a friend or anything like that, being able to drive yourself around is awesome. Driving around is one of my favorite things too. So yeah, I remember that being an important birthday for me as well.
1 second, our dog just is demanding to go out of this room right now.
This beast.
Raverkin.
This beast. Yeah, she's very emotional. She doesn't like our birthday talk. She's embarrassed that we were talking about her. I think that's maybe part of it. Yeah, being able to drive around is important. And for those of you that may not know what a payphone is, it was a cell phone that was attached with a wire to a big old metal phone that was attached to the ground by like a big pole, or sometimes in what they called a phone booth, which was like this big square thing that you went in and used the phone, and you had to put change into it. Why change? I'm not sure.
It used to take a dime, and then it took 15 cents. We were not alive when it took a dime.
I don't remember that. I just remember quarters.
It was quarters by the time we were alive. Yeah, and then it went up to 50 cents.
That's
and
absurd.
I remember being like, "That's a ripoff."
Yeah, and I think in today's day and age, there's probably I know there's payphones out in the world. I haven't seen a wild one in a long time. They're like rarer than shiny Pokemon, but I'm sure they still exist. But now, they have like USB phones that you could like plug into your cell phone. I've seen that's some like hipster nonsense.
Like a handset.
Like a handset.
Not like an additional phone.
Yeah, like a handset that you can plug into your phone. Because of course. But yeah, and then there was that weird phase where like texting and calling cost money too.
Texting used to cost so much money.
You could
we didn't have full keyboards. The first phone to have like the full keyboard was like the Blackberry. And then the Sidekick. That I wanted so bad.
There were some flip phones like the Envy, the LG Envy had one. That's what I had. That was my first keyboard phone.
Right, the Envy.
Yeah, having a keyboard. Gosh. Yeah, instead of using the freaking phone buttons, be like, oh no, I have to hit 9 3 times.
Yeah, and we had to shorten all the letters because it would take forever. So
it took so long to type.
Just be like, what are those? Not an engram, but an acronyms,
kind of, yeah,
for
like
everything.
Code talk,
like BRB, later with an 8 and an R, L8R.
Yeah, that's where like LOL kind of came from, right? It was easier to type LOL than laugh out loud. It would take 6 years to type on an old phone. But yeah, anyway,
birthday memories.
So
funniest birthday memory. We have the same one noted here because we both can get off topic, as you've seen. So we took little notes.
Don't tell them our secrets.
It's not really a secret.
Behind the curtain.
Behind the microphone. Yeah, our funniest birthday memory. We did do a combined birthday one time.
Yeah.
And we wanted to go to Dave and Buster's because, food, friends, and fun. What could be better than this? So why don't you talk a little bit about Dave and Buster's combined birthday?
Yeah, I mean, video games. I love video games, of course. So why would I not want to play video games on my birthday? Like,
pay someone to play video games.
Yeah, pay someone. Yeah, right. Let's not get into that. But like, yeah, I mean, arcades are unfortunately a rarer thing these days, and Dave and Buster's. I mean, this was what, 2014, 15-ish, somewhere around there. So Dave and Buster's has been out for a while. They still exist, right?
Yeah, and I think they give you like $10 in free credit on your birthday or something like
Yeah, I
that.
think that was one of the reasons we went there. Is like
Yeah,
we can
so
get
we're
some
like,
free
hell
credit.
yeah.
We can get like some good food deals. We can invite a bunch of people, and like everyone can like have their food, play some games, do their own thing.
Yeah.
So like we organized this whole thing. We invited like a bunch of our friends. We probably had like almost like
And
15
Raven's
people.
back. Hi,
Hey
beautiful.
puppy. Hey
We'll
puppy.
get a camera in here at some point so you can see this
Oh
beautiful
yeah,
cat.
yeah. We'll put the dog on cam.
Um, yeah, it was a really sneaky way for us to be able to have a party without like having to socialize with everyone for like 8
The
hours
whole
or 6
time,
hours
yeah.
or like, it was just kind of very low key.
Yeah. And it was fun. I mean, I'm sure we won some stuff because I'm a killer at those games. I rack in those tickets.
Is that where we got the stuffed Mordecai and Rigby from
Yeah,
regular
from the regular
show?
show, that is where we got them both.
Oh,
That same trip, we got both those stuffed animals.
and a couple other things
Yeah, we
too.
got a bunch of stuff.
It was so fun though.
It
I
was a lot of
highly
fun.
recommend that
Yeah,
if you're into gaming.
of course, even if you're not, it's just fun. One, lots of bright lights. So bright flashing lights and fun sounds at any arcade is always a blast. But their food's pretty good. They got drinks. I mean, and there's something for everyone. If you want to play games, I mean, this isn't a promo to Dave and Buster's. If you guys want to
Not
sponsor us,
sponsored.
by all means.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
This is our first episode. It's not sponsored.
Our second episode might be though. But yeah, it's got something for everyone. It's just a cool place to go. I'd love to go back. I don't know about COVID. I'd freaking bring Lysol
Ooh,
wipes with me, but
yeah.
the main thing I remember, it was fun overall, but the thing I remember that just kind of makes me laugh is we had like over a dozen people there, right? Like maybe 16 people, something like that. We had a table full of people. I remember paying 3 times my bill because so many people didn't pay enough. Remember that?
Really?
Yeah,
No.
so many people didn't account for tip and tax and all that. And I
Oh my
was,
god.
I don't want to say too shy. I just took it. I am overly nice, and I used to have trouble standing up for myself.
Mm.
So I just took it on the chin, and it ended up paying like $70 on my own birthday for dinner.
I don't know if you ever told me.
I maybe have. I don't know. I remember Mark being upset about it. My friend Mark, who was there that I used to
Shout out
work
to
with.
Mark.
Shout out to Mark. Yeah, I remember talking to him about it, and he was more pissed for me.
He would be.
But like, yeah, if you ever go out to eat in a group, y'all MFers better include tax and tip. Factor that
Take
in
out the
and buffer it.
calculator.
Yeah, take out the calculator if you can't do it in your head. Round up because you could always have a little bit extra. And if it's somebody's birthday, maybe make sure you pay your fair share.
Yeah. Or like offer to drive, if
Offer
you
to
can't afford
drive
to
or
pay for dinner
something, but
or can't afford to chip in or whatever, just be like, hey, I'll drive,
yeah, but
or
it's
pay your bus fare or whatever.
yeah, something. If you're not getting me a present, don't make me buy your dinner. How about that?
On my birthday
On my
at Dave and
birthday.
Buster's.
Yeah, and that's maybe a good segue into our next topic is one of our worst birthday memories.
Oh my
So
gosh.
how about you start with this one? This should be
Okay.
interesting.
I couldn't think of like a specific instance, and maybe it'll come like back to me at some point, and
Hmm.
we can talk about it. But I couldn't remember like any one thing. I was like, ugh, and this was the worst day. Um,
The
but
day you met me.
no, that was one of the best
Oh, thank you. And
days.
that wasn't your birthday anyway.
It wasn't. It was yours.
Mhm.
Mine had already happened. Um, we'll talk about more my side of that story of how we met
Oh,
in
okay.
a future podcast, maybe. Um, but yeah, it's just like the general weather around my birthday usually caused my birthday parties to be canceled or like rescheduled or pushed off into, some obscure, like June. Like, well,
Yeah.
let's do it in June. And it's like, well, it's not my birthday in
Yep.
June.
Summer
So that,
summer
yeah.
delays.
So that always kind of like sucked a little bit of the fun out of it. Because it's usually like hailing or completely icy or full of
Mm-hmm.
snow. Um, excuse me, I'm drinking something bubbly. Um,
Kombucha burps, they're
yeah,
real.
kombucha burps. But other than that, I thought of one thing. Um, there was one time it was my birthday, and I didn't know that the candles on the cake were not edible. I knew that people like took them off the cake and would like lick the frosting off of the candles, and I thought they were eating them. And I never asked anyone, so they were like, "Oh, here you go. Here's the candles. You can lick the frosting off." And I was like, "Okay." So I started eating the candle,
You little.
and at like a couple bites through, I stopped and I said to my cousin, "This isn't really good." And she looked at me and she was like, "Wait, are you eating those?" I was like, "Yeah, you told me to eat them." She's like, "No, I told you to lick the frosting off of them, not eat them. That's why it doesn't taste good." So I had like eaten half of a candle before I figured out that you weren't supposed to eat them.
Yeah, that's one way to learn the lesson, you little mongoloid. You
From then on, I
wax
knew
eater.
better.
I mean, hey, some people eat wax, but yeah, I don't think you're supposed to. I
Don't
can't.
do that.
Don't do
Please
it.
don't do that. Lick the frosting off. Don't eat the candle.
Yeah, I've never eaten a candle on my birthday, but I've had a fair number of crappier birthdays. Definitely the weather. Weather is always the biggest issue. I mean, anyone who's lived in New England in February, it's the worst. It's always the worst. So I had so many parties get canceled, snowed out. But the definite like one that comes to mind first is my 21st birthday. I of course was trying to have a party at my house, trying to be the host because I wanted everyone to come over, and I decided to get a keg. Now, I wasn't much of a drinker at that age. I didn't even have like my first drink until like a few months before that. Like, just wasn't for me, but I got a keg because everyone I knew drank. Like, I just was friends with a bunch of drunkards in high school. So I get a keg. We want to have our fun for the birthday, and we put it outside because it'll keep it cold, right? We don't want to leave it inside. So night's going about, it's pretty crazy. Probably had like 30 or 40 people at my dad's house. Like the place was packed. And somebody goes to get some beer, comes back inside, says, "Oh, the keg's tapped." And we're like, "That's crazy. How is the keg tapped already?" It had been like not that long. And me and my buddy Pat go out to check the keg, and we like pick it up and shake it, and it's frozen. It was so cold outside that like the beer in the hose and in the keg had started to freeze.
That's
So we
crazy.
had to bring it inside and like wrap a blanket around it to get it to warm up. And it took a while for it to warm up. So like and that was kind of like the start to like just obnoxiousness that birthday. It wasn't terrible, it wasn't horrible, but like definitely like one of the worst ones that sticks out because after that happened, there was also a bunch of snow that night, which no one knew was coming. I don't think it was forecasted. I don't know. I don't know if I looked at forecasts in my
Right?
20s.
I
Uh,
don't think so.
like, especially what's that, 16 years ago? So, what, early 2000s? Like, where are you going to look at forecasts? No one had cell phones. You didn't have a smartphone,
We
but
had cell phones. They
I
just
didn't.
weren't
I didn't.
smart.
I mean, yeah, maybe I think I did. Let me not be exaggeratory. I definitely had a cell phone by then, but you couldn't easily look up the weather, or maybe I didn't bother because I was 21. Anyway, it snowed that night. A lot of snow, a blizzard amount of snow. So of course, after midnight, when everyone has either gone home or passed out, me and my friends, which was this is something we wanted to do often, was go to a local diner that was open 24 hours. Shout out to Blue Colony Diner off exit 10 in Newtown, one of the best diners ever. I am totally biased because that's
Mhm.
just the one I went to. So we all wanted to go to Blue Colony at like 1 a.m., but there had just been a blizzard out. Well, I luckily had a Subaru station wagon with all-wheel drive, So I loaded up like 8 to 10 people in my car, something like that, and drove from our house to Blue Colony on the highway. There was so much snow. There were no plows out because it was still snowing. It was so deep that my car plowed the highway as I was driving. Like it was just a
That's
rut
insane.
where my car was. And we stopped and parked on the highway, and everyone got out of the car and like freaking danced around because there was no one
there was
coming.
no one. Yeah.
So that was a good experience, but the whole snow was just nonsensical. The keg getting frozen was just obnoxious. And then like the next day or a couple days later, I found out that someone stole my GameCube on my birthday. Someone stole my GameCube
From your house?
from my house. And anyone that knows me, which is maybe none of you listening, but maybe, I don't know.
I'm sure some of our
Maybe
friends
someone.
are listening. Hi, friends.
Hi, friends. I love video games, and I love me some Nintendo, especially back in the day. N64 and GameCube were my jam, but someone took my GameCube. Someone stole it on my birthday. I didn't even get presents because my friends, I don't know,
Yeah, they were like, "We're here.
We're here.
We're all 20.
Whatever. I didn't ask for any presents,
Yeah.
but I also didn't ask for my stuff to get stolen. So, happy birthday to me.
Drives everybody to the diner.
Right? I go
Gets
out of my
GameCube
way to drive everyone to the diner at 1 a.m. in a blizzard.
5 feet of snow.
Yeah, it felt like it was a couple feet. So yeah, that's a birthday that will forever, ever live on in my memory.
That's a crazy one.
Yeah. It could be worse though. It could have been worse. It could always be worse.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
That's
I
how
don't have much to say.
Yeah, well that's a good
Yeah.
that's one way to rationalize bad things. Is just say it could be worse. It could be worse.
Yeah,
Just gaslight yourself.
Oh my gosh. Well, this is a lot of fun talking about our birthdays together.
Yeah, this is a blast.
I had a lot of fun. I hope you all listening had a lot of fun as well. And we're going to wrap it up now because we're almost out of time. But we will have more episodes coming soon. And you can, of course, check them here via Spotify. We should also be on Apple Podcasts soon. We do have a YouTube channel at Starkillr Base. We also have an Instagram at Starkillr Base. Starkillr has no E in the ER. It's StarKillr.
BASE.
Nice. I was hoping you were finished. I'm just like looking at him, like
staring at
finish.
me.
Please
Don't make me spell on the spot.
Don't
That's
make
one of my
me
triggers.
Spell everything.
Spell out loud. Oh God.
But yeah, and happy birthday to you, my friend.
Happy birthday to you, and happy birthday
Happy
to
birthday to
all
you.
of you listening.
If it's your birthday.
If it's not, happy birthday anyway.
birthday
Celebrate your birthday right now. At the moment you're listening to this.
Celebrate it.
Celebrate. Yes. That's an order.
Celebrate your birthday every day. What's that Katy Perry song? Anyway, we'll see you next time for another installment of Starkillr Base, where we talk about more things that have happened to us or that we just think in general. And thank you so much for joining us. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.